guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. If it is your first time here, my name is Hanan and welcome to another video. Today's environment is definitely a little bit different, but I figured it would be really nice because this environment really matches what we're going to be talking about today. And this is also my favorite season on top of that. So I was like, I need to be in a space that really not only aligns with this video, but makes me feel good sitting down and talking about it. This is also one of my favorite parks that I always go to because it's so quiet and no one's ever here, which I absolutely love. Let me not jinx that because I feel like someone's going to walk by as I'm filming. I know I'm not going to expose where it is because it's near my house, okay? So I figured this would be a great place to actually make a video. So yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well, inshallah. I hope you guys have been taking care of yourselves. I hope that life has been treating you well. I know that there's been so much happening. The last time I put up a poll on Instagram asking you guys how your heart was feeling, a lot of people were saying heavy, tired, exhausted. People are feeling anxious, and wallahi, I know exactly what that feels like because that was literally me for a majority of 2025. I'm not gonna lie. 2025 was a very rough year. Okay, I need 2025 to end today. Every time the new year starts, I tell myself it's a fresh start, but then I get bamboozled. But now that we're kind of approaching the end of the year, I can say for myself that I've learned so much this year, so many new lessons. I feel like it's kind of like a rebirth. And I just want you to know that that feeling that you're feeling is just the season in your life that you're in right now. And it's going to pass, inshallah. And I feel like this season that we're in right now with the weather and fall being here and then winter is the perfect time to kind of recuperate and get yourself together and kind of realign so that you're able to make those feelings kind of dissipate. So if you see an animal jump towards me and I'm quiet, it's because I'm in shock. But inshallah, nothing comes to me. I'm hearing a lot of movement in the bushes, so yeah, anyways, you guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Of course, before we start, don't forget to get your coffee, your tea, your matcha, whatever makes you feel nice and cozy. I'm honestly nice and warm in this coat. However, it is a little bit chilly and I probably should have worn boots. Instead, I'm wearing these flats. Not very smart, but I look cute, so whatever. It is what it is, okay? Sometimes you gotta look cute. It's not that cold, guys. It's just a little chilly. I'm being dramatic. Anyways, I have my Timmy's here. I have a French vanilla, half dark roast. It's literally one of my favorite things to order. Every time I'm at Tim Hortons, if I want like a cozy drink. I was gonna get an iced coffee, but I thought that's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I didn't do it. So warm drink, okay? Of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you guys enjoy this video. And without further ado, let's get this video started. I want us to be completely honest with ourselves. Even when we want change, even when change is something that is very important to us and it's something that we're striving towards because we want something new for ourselves, whether that's a change in our environment, our relationships, our friendships, our workplace, whatever it is, it will still feel uncomfortable. And that's because when there's change in our lives, it doesn't necessarily just affect our routines and our day-to-day habits. It actually shapes and changes our identities. And when you outgrow a version of yourself that you once knew, a version of yourself that you're very familiar with, you will start asking yourself very deep questions like, who am I now? Is this person that I am today aligned with the person that I've wanted to become? Am I becoming her? Am I making the right choices? What if I make the wrong choice? What if this decision that I'm really leaning towards ends up being the wrong decision? I've been going through my own season of change and it truly made me realize how uncomfortable growth can really be. And when I say uncomfortable, I mean uncomfortable. You really don't know what to do with it. A lot of the times we can feel ourselves evolving. We can feel ourselves changing. We can feel that things are different and that can be so scary. And I think a big part of that is because we don't really know who we're fully becoming just yet. We might have an idea of that, but we're not 100% sure if it's actually going to happen, if we're going to be able to experience that version of ourselves. And so with that change, it starts to instill feelings of fear and really anxiousness. I've been there before in my life where I've had to make very difficult decisions for myself that led to very massive changes. A perfect example of that is deciding to leave the UK after being there for so long and living there and having a life there. Deciding to leave was a very big change for me. It was a huge season of change that required a lot of thinking, that required a lot of growth, that required a lot of hard decisions. But I knew that in certain situations of my life, if something didn't feel right, if there were things that led to a decision that was being made, that was the decision I had to lean towards. And I'm saying that in every aspect of my life and for your lives as well. And though a lot of the times the decisions that you make can be the right move for you, can be things that are going to make sense for you 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 6 months from now, a lot of the times right decisions will still feel wrong because it's difficult and because it's right for you. And the truth of the matter is growth and peace and that feeling of contentment that you're looking for might not always feel peaceful in the beginning, right? It's going to feel a little chaotic. It's going to feel like things are shifting too quickly for you. It's going to feel like your life is a little bit blurry. You might not always feel that instant sense of peace when you're making a decision for yourself and you're making a hard decision for yourself. But you have to understand that you can't grow in a place where you remain comfortable. The minute you start to feel uncomfortable with a decision, the minute you start to feel like you're not stagnant anymore, more often than not, you're making the right decision for yourself because change involves involves being a little bit uncomfortable. And that feeling that you're feeling just means that you're growing. Whenever I go on my walks during the fall and I look at the trees and I look at how colors of the leaves change, it's such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing to experience and witness. And one of the things I always notice is how naturally the leaves fall off of the trees and just completely let go. These trees are so beautiful and they don't hold on to those leaves, right? They don't hold on to those leaves for every single season. There has to be a period where they need to let those leaves go in order to create space for new growth, for it to create space to grow new leaves and to really embrace new seasons. They trust that losing those leaves is a part of what keeps those trees alive. I just think that that's such a beautiful, powerful reminder for us as well, that not everything that falls away, not everything that you lose is actually a loss. It is very normal for a lot of people to feel like the normal reaction to things is to try to keep relationships, friendships, jobs, habits, versions of ourselves that we know that we've already outgrown, that no longer align with who we're trying to become. And the reason we do that and the reason that we really hold on to that is because we're afraid of what happens next or what may happen next. But I think that sometimes the most loving thing that you can do for yourself is to let go and release the thing that no longer serves you, and that thing or that experience that has completely run its course in your life. You will know when that feeling happens. When the leaves fall from the trees, they're really creating a space for new growth to happen and also a space for stillness and quiet. And as you know, when winter comes around, the trees are bare, there's no leaves, and it's in a season of hibernation and prepping for that new growth, prepping to create space for a beautiful new season and a new beginning. And every single year when we look at these trees and we can actually see and experience how beautiful it is to see these colors change, we might be in awe, but we forget that the tree doesn't necessarily have a choice, right? It's a part of its process to let go of those leaves. And it teaches us that letting go is a natural part of growth. All of these trees that you're looking at are not going to fight to keep what's already served its purpose. It's not going to think to itself, hey, you know what? It took me so long for these leaves to grow. I don't want to let them go. It lets them go because it knows that winter is coming. And if it doesn't let those leaves go, it won't be able to survive. It's all a part of its life cycle. You cannot hold on to everything. Some things, some people, some experiences, some environments that you're in, some jobs, sometimes they're just meant to serve a season in your life. We are very complex, nuanced human beings, and life is very, very, very difficult, and it changes all the time, and seasons change all the time. If we were going to be the same people that we were at 20 versus at 30, we would literally be so miserable. Like, we would actually be miserable. Imagine being the same person, having the same routine, having the same habits, being in the same environment every single day, having the same job every single day. I mean, the job part, I can understand that, but you get my point, right? Every single day, and not having any experience for change or growth or experiencing new things in your life. When that season in your life ends, holding on to it is only going to drain you further. Every single time you feel that resistance, you feel that fear of that change coming, I want you to ask yourself, what is it that I'm holding on to that no longer serves who it is that I'm becoming? If you don't make peace with the fact that letting go is completely normal, life will do it for you. And truthfully speaking, that's usually a lot more painful. So make the decision for yourself before life has to force it out of you. Okay? I'm just saying. And also, I think a big part of this is learning to also trust yourself and trust the decisions that you're making. At the end of the day, you should always be your own best friend first, right? You should always try your very best to get to a place where you can fully trust your own decision. I've said this to you guys many times before, that a better way of framing things is not looking at your decisions as one either being a good or bad decision. Look at it as either a good decision or a hard decision, because at the end of the day, any decision that you make is going to lead you somewhere, and it's not always going to be a bad thing, right? And even if it is, it's a new season and a new lesson to get you out of that so you can experience another new season in your life. All of these experiences really come down to your mindset and really having that mindset shift. You don't need to lean on to everyone to ask them, do you think this is the right decision for me? Do you think I should do this? Constantly reaching out to people to ask them to help you make a decision in your life. It is your life. Trust yourself. Trust that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to help guide you through that decision. Make that decision and keep it pushing. So let's get a little more practical here, because I think that this is the part where a lot of people tend to get stuck. And letting go of things that no longer serve you, it can look like very different things and come at different stages. The first stage is awareness, right? You realize right now that there is something in your life that no longer serves you, that no longer feels right for you. It could, for example, be a friendship that is one-sided. It could be something like a relationship. Maybe it's a routine that drains you. or you have a mindset that keeps you very small and you're constantly speaking negatively about yourself. A lot of the times this part really hurts, that awareness part, because it forces you to really be honest with yourself. And sometimes being honest with yourself can be very, very difficult, because although we're flawed human beings, we don't want to admit the fact that we're flawed. We don't want to admit the fact that we do make mistakes and that we're not perfect human beings, even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us on this earth knowing that we were going to make mistakes and mess up and trip and fall. We're not angels. We're not meant to be perfect. So a lot of the times for humans, it can still be very hard to sit with that awareness, to come to terms with that awareness and come to terms with the fact that you need to be a little honest with yourself. The next part is really resistance, right? So this is the part where you're going to start to really rationalize with yourself. And maybe you'll tell yourself, you know what? It's not that bad. Like, I can stick this through for another 2 years. I mean, I don't hate my job. You know, it pays the bills, even though I'm miserable and I literally hate my life every single day. It's not that bad, right? Maybe the friendship that no longer serves you and you're feeling drained, you're thinking to yourself, yeah, but you know what? We've been friends for 10 years and I really feel like maybe I can fix it, you know, even though the person is like super, super stubborn and you know that it's not going to be fixed at all. That resistance that you feel is actually very normal, and it's you literally trying to negotiate with the reality of your life. It's not going to get you nowhere. The more you sit there and rationalize, the more you're just wasting your time. The next part is the acceptance stage, and this is the stage where you finally accept the truth. You realize that holding on to this experience, holding on to these things in your life is a lot more painful than choosing to just let it go. And when you do that, when you finally reach that acceptance stage, that's going to be the very beginning of you starting to feel at peace and starting to feel content again. And I promise you, you will feel like that. The mindset shift that I also want you to think about is that you don't need closure in your life in order to move on from whatever experiences. Every single time you choose yourself and you make the decision to choose yourself, even when it's very difficult, you're reinforcing to yourself that you actually trust yourself and you trust your own judgment. Sometimes the peace that you're looking for and the contentment that you're seeking and, you know, that feeling of peace that you're really craving comes after you've actually released and not tried to fix the things that no longer can be fixed. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about is failure, because I really think it aligns with this fear of change. And I've talked about failure plenty of times on my channel, and I feel like I'm just passionate about this topic because I used to fear change because I thought that if I failed, that things were just not going to work out for me anymore in the future, and I just couldn't try new things anymore. When something ends in your life, it is very easy to quickly think to yourself, wow, I just wasted my time, or to tell yourself, I've completely messed up and there's no point in me trying again. But what I want you guys to remember is that failure is not the opposite of success, right? It is data that you are feeding yourself through your life experiences, and it's almost like a feedback loop. If something doesn't work out in your life anymore, you've learned something from it. If someone has left in your life, whether it's a friendship or a relationship, a partner, you've learned something from it. If there was a dream that you had for yourself and a dream that you had for your life and you tried, but it fell apart, it may just be that it is not aligned with your purpose anymore, or just maybe not aligned with this particular season of your life. All of the experiences that you have in your life will either redirect you or refine you. And I just want you to remember that just because something ended doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you're a failure in any way, shape, or form. And one of the healthiest things that you could ever do for yourself is to change that mindset of when things don't work out, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you in any way, shape, or form. It just means that that chapter in its life has completely served its purpose, and it's time for you to move on and embrace new change. You got what you needed from that experience, and now it's time for you to build and create a beautiful life. I feel like nobody really talks enough about being in that in-between phase, and that is really the awkward season where you've just let things go. You've let that thing go. You've told yourself it's just not for me anymore. And while you've let go of that old thing, the new thing that you're seeking hasn't arrived just yet. You're not who you were, but you're also not yet who you're becoming. And sometimes it can feel like when you're in that season of that almost like that preparation season, you feel like you're in a season of nothing, like nothing's going on, nothing's changing in your life, nothing's moving, you feel stagnant. You're also in a place where you feel like everyone else's life is moving forward and you're just kind of stuck, right? Even though you're propelling, even though you're moving, it feels like nothing is moving for you and you're in a very awkward, weird phase in your life. And sometimes even when you feel like that, you're going to hit a place where you're going to kind of feel like you regret that decision a little bit, where you're like, wow, maybe if I had just stuck to what I had before, things would have been okay for me. Maybe that was the wrong decision. You're going to start to feel a little bit of self-doubt. What I want you to just remember is that this in-between stage that you're in, where it feels very weird and odd, this is where you are going to build quietly for yourself, build the things that you want. This is where you're going to regain that self-trust. This is where you're going to pour back into yourself. This is where you are going to use this season to sort of rest and recalibrate, rejuvenate, renew. Damn, that's a lot of renew, rejuvenate. That's a lot. I really ate with that. Anyways, this is a this is the season where, you're going to be able to do all of that. Oh, this is the season where you're also going to be able to rediscover. Damn, I'm really hitting the bars today. I don't know what's going on. One thing I want you to think about, and I think I've mentioned this actually previously in a vlog, is when you look at winter, right? And you look at the trees and they're so bare and empty and everything outside is quiet, right? Everything just looks dead, right? Like everything's so quiet and it just looks like nothing's happening. But on the surface and underground, the roots of these trees are strengthening. And I want you to just understand that that is the same thing in your life as well. The only thing is you just can't see it yet. So when you've entered this space in your life, I want you to focus on, the smaller actions, taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, reconnecting with the people around you that really matter to you, cleaning your environment, cleaning the space that you live in, and also just reminding yourself that stillness and that quietness and that season of nothingness is temporary and you're not going to be in that stage of your life forever. And when that next season of your life comes and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you this next season, you've already gone through the preparation stage, which will happen, right? You will experience that next new season, that exciting season, whatever that next season looks like. You are going to be so glad that you used that season of nothingness to really this bug. You are going to be so glad that you used the season of nothingness to really prep you for this new season. Should I move? No, I'm gonna thug it out. Oh my god, you guys, by the way, when I was taking a shower, this is really completely off topic, but when I was taking a shower yesterday, I saw the fattest spider I've ever seen in my entire life, guys. I literally screamed. This was a spider that was in my shower. In my shower, you guys. Also, there was a bee living in my room for like a week and a half. I literally named it Boo Boo, and I had to get my dad to come and kill it because, but I just couldn't face the fact that I had to kill an insect and I was scared. But anyways, so that little scream was very justified, okay? Anyways, let's continue. The point that I'm trying to make with this entire video is that you can either choose to fight your growth or you can choose to embrace it and go with the flow. Another thing as well is that when something in your life changes, whether that's a job, a relationship, your family, whatever changes, your brain is going to see that as a threat because you're losing that routine and you're losing predictability. And as humans, we crave stability more than anything. We like knowing what the next thing is going to look like. Think about it, right? When you decide to grow, when you decide to start a new job, to leave an old job, to start a new relationship, to create boundaries, to make new friends, while it can be exciting, it also feels like you're free falling. You might not realize it then and there because sometimes these changes can be very subtle and quiet. That's why our instincts naturally as humans is to cling onto what we know and what makes us feel comfortable, even if those things are no longer good for you anymore. So the lesson here is you can't grow and stay comfortable at the same time. And if your life right now feels really weird, you feel anxious, you feel heavy, something just doesn't feel right, you are in a transitory phase. You are in a season of your life where that is going to change. While things can feel a little bit chaotic, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're off track. It could just mean that those feelings and those emotions that you're feeling and things being a bit chaotic is just a part of that transitory phase. You're literally just in the middle of the uncomfortable part that comes right before things start to make sense. So just like leaves in the fall, what's meant to stay will stay, and what's meant to fall will fall. And after every season of release, there will always be something new and beautiful that will grow in your life. So yeah, I just want you to remember that, and just a reminder to yourself, it is so important that when you're in this season to also just take it easy, you guys. So I say this to say that you're not alone in how you feel. You're not alone in, maybe feeling stuck and feeling like your life is all over the place and feeling like, you're anxious and not sure where your next step is. I promise you, you're not alone. So many people are feeling the exact same way and just feeling like directionless, just feeling lost and just not sure what their next steps are. I promise you, wallahi, the light is just at the end of the tunnel and you just need to push a little bit harder and just embrace where you're at right now, even if it is very, very, very difficult, because I promise you, you will feel that joy, that sense of contentment, that sense of peace, that sense of happiness when you are in that next season of your life, inshallah. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, that you guys found it very helpful. I barely drank my warm toasty drink, okay? Now it's like cold, so I need to go heat this up when I go home. But yeah, anyways, you guys, I really hope inshallah you feel a little bit lighter after this video. Honestly, my entire purpose of these videos is that I really want you guys to feel light and comfort through my channel. Like literally, that's my entire goal of even having this YouTube channel. I don't care about anything else, genuinely. I just want this to be a space where you guys feel seen and heard and comfortable. I really hope genuinely you guys feel like that. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. I think the time of the month is coming. I really hope, inshallah, that you guys feel like that and, it brings you a sense of peace and contentment. And yeah, that's about it. I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.